One key to the Edmonton Oilers' ability to stay near the top of the NHL standings through the first third of the season is a lack of losing skids. Not once have they lost more than 2 games in a row. You might imagine that's a trait shared by most of the NHL's top teams, but it's not this season. Not even the Boston Bruins have managed to avoid a 3 or more game slide. Even the defending Stanley Cup champs, the St. Louis Blues, the Washington Capitals, and the New York Islanders, all Eastern behemoths, have suffered 3-game losing skids thus far, and all are ahead of the Oilers in the overall standings.
Good teams don't lose 2 games in a row, and this season, like you said, is pushing 30 games in, and they've only lost 2 in a row twice. And their record after a loss was 6-1, or now it's like 7-2 or something along those lines. So they've been really consistent, because this is a team that so much has gone wrong for so long that as soon as they have a bad loss like Colorado, people are like, oh no, is this the beginning of the end? Is this where they go downhill for the rest of the season? And it's just not happening. They regroup very strongly, and they come back with a good effort. That road win in Vancouver was really gritty. They were down a bunch of guys, and they still pulled it out. So that's a great sign this deep into the season, that if they can stop your losing streaks at 2, 100% they're in the playoffs, because the only thing that's going to derail them at this stage is an extended losing streak, and they've shown to this point that they can bounce back, really well.
Things did look dire for the Oilers following a loss to the Vancouver Canucks at home and playing in Vancouver the next night, but they managed to stave off a 3-game slide by winning in Vancouver despite having an injury-depleted lineup.
I kind of fully expected that they were going to lose that one too, because they had not a very good game in Denver. They come home, not a very good game against the Canucks, although a lot of that maybe was on Smith. 2 in a row, and then they're playing, the team that just beat them 5-2 going on the road without Cassian, without Nugent Hopkins. Benning was out for a stretch. Russell's wife was, having a baby. So there was a lot going against them, and, they reared up and fought back hard and turned in a real clutch victory. So, they're heading into a stretch now. They play 10 games in 18 days, and they're already down a few guys. So this is going to be the real test of, what they are and their ability to rebound from, adversity and fatigue and injury and, maybe a lot of the ghosts of seasons past that they seem to be escaping.
On the injury front, the Oilers have been able to absorb some key ones to key personnel. Most recently, the Oilers have had to juggle forward lines minus second-line center Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Before that, for a month and a half, they had to do without the services of top pairing defenseman Adam Larsson. The blue line core in particular has seen its share of players come and go from the lineup, thanks to injuries that have also afflicted the likes of Matt Benning, Joel Persson, and Brandon Manning. And with Nugent-Hopkins out of the lineup, the Oilers have seen a bit of a preview of a time that could come sooner or later when one of their top forward stars, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, misses action for a few games.
It shows how valuable Nugent Hopkins is. Like, he doesn't get a lot of the glory headlines, and he isn't piling up the points, but he's good on the power play. He kills the penalties. He can take on some hard minutes. He does a lot of the heavy lifting, and when he's not around, it has to fall on somebody. And you saw Draisaitl's minutes creep up to pushing 30 a couple of times, and now they have to split up the 2, McDavid and Draisaitl. So if either of those 2 big dogs got hurt, I might think that would be it. Like, I don't know that the Oilers could survive that, but you never know. The Penguins did it, when they were missing Crosby here and there. You have to go through it to see what they'll be able to do. It would be a staggering loss, but I think, Draisaitl is good enough that if he had to center the first line and Nugent Hopkins was there to center the second line, that maybe they could soldier through it, depending on how long it was. But cross your fingers. Draisaitl's been a horse. The guy never gets hurt. Like, he's only missed 4 games in 4 years or something along those lines. So, you shouldn't have to worry about him, and you cross your fingers on McDavid too, that he can stay healthy.